In January 2024, a mid-size law firm in Chicago called Seyfarth Shaw quietly laid off 28 paralegals. Not junior attorneys. Not secretaries. Paralegals, the people earning $55,000 to $75,000 a year doing document review, contract analysis, and case research. 3 months later, the firm reported its highest quarterly profits in a decade. And here is the part that should concern you: they did not replace those 28 people with cheaper offshore labor. They replaced them with 4 AI licenses costing $2,000 each per month. Meanwhile, the 200,000 IR partners. Every single one of them is still there. Still billing. Still employed. And that pattern is repeating across every major law firm in America right now. Welcome back to Zero Index. There is a belief most people hold about automation that turns out to be dangerously wrong. The belief goes like this: AI will first replace the lowest skilled, lowest paid workers, then gradually work its way up the ladder. Factory workers, then retail clerks, then office workers, then professionals. A neat hierarchy of disruption. The reality is almost exactly backwards, and understanding why changes everything about how you should be thinking about your career right now. The first wave of white-collar AI displacement is not hitting minimum wage workers. It is hitting the middle. Specifically, it is hitting roles that pay between $45,000 and $90,000 a year, jobs that require education, training, and expertise, but that expertise is primarily applied to structured, repeatable tasks with clear inputs and outputs. Paralegals are the perfect example. A paralegal spends roughly 70% of their time on 4 activities: document review, legal research, contract analysis, and case file organization. These tasks require real skill. You need to understand legal terminology. You need to know what to look for. You need years of training to do it competently. But here is what makes that skill suddenly worthless: every single one of those tasks can be described as processing large volumes of structured information according to consistent rules. That is exactly what large language models are best at. I spoke with a litigation support manager at a firm I cannot name. She told me something that has stuck with me for weeks. She said, and I am quoting here, "The cruelest irony is that paralegals did exactly what they were supposed to do. They specialized. They got certified. They learned the systems. And that is precisely why the systems can now learn them." There is a third reason this is happening that took me a long time to track down, and I will come back to it because it changes the entire picture. But first, you need to understand why the 200,000 lawyers are not facing the same threat. A first-year associate at a top law firm bills around $400 an hour. A senior partner bills $1,200 or more. The obvious assumption is that these are the expensive heads companies would love to replace. But when you look at what actually gets automated, that assumption falls apart. Here is what a 200,000 lawyer actually does that a 60,000 paralegal does not. They sit across from a client whose marriage is falling apart and decide how much to push, how much to comfort, when to be aggressive, when to counsel patience. They walk into a courtroom and read the jury, adjust their tone mid-sentence, pick up on the judge's irritation before it becomes a problem. They negotiate deals where the other side is lying about their bottom line, and they have to figure out where the lie is without ever being told. None of that is structured information processing. All of it is high-stakes human navigation in ambiguous, adversarial, emotionally charged environments. I want to be precise about this because most people miss it. The dividing line between automatable and non-automatable work is not skill level. It is not education level. It is not even pay level. The dividing line is, does this job primarily involve applying consistent rules to structured inputs, or does it primarily involve navigating ambiguity with humans who have competing interests? A paralegal earning $60K spends most of their day in the first category. A partner earning $500K spends most of their day in the second. And right now, AI is devastating at the first category and essentially useless at the second. Here is a number that makes this concrete. Harvey AI, the legal AI platform backed by Sequoia and used by firms like Allen Overy, can review a 200-page contract and flag risk provisions in about 90 seconds. A senior paralegal takes 6 to 8 hours to do the same task. The AI costs roughly $50 per use. The paralegal costs roughly $300 in labor for that same work. No partner got replaced. But 40 of the paralegal work simply vanished. And this is where it gets strange. For decades, the economics of professional services worked on a model called leverage. Partners at law firms, senior consultants at McKinsey, lead architects at design firms, they made their money not by billing more hours themselves, but by overseeing armies of junior people who did the bulk of the work while the senior person captured the margin. A partner might bill 1,800 hours a year personally. But they might oversee 6 associates and 4 paralegals who collectively bill 18,000 hours. The partner captures a percentage of all that labor. That is how you get million-dollar incomes in professional services. AI just broke that model. Not by replacing the partner. By replacing the leverage. Here is what I mean. If AI can do the work of 4 paralegals for $96,000 a year in software licenses instead of $280,000 in salaries, the partner does not get fired, they get more profitable. They bill the same client-facing hours. But now their cost basis collapsed. Margins go up. Partner income goes up. The junior and mid-level professionals were never the product. They were the cost of producing the product. And AI just made that cost almost free. I tracked down compensation data from a legal recruiting firm, and what I found is striking. Partner compensation at the AM Law 100 firms increased 11 in 2023. Associate compensation stayed flat. Paralegal and support staff headcount dropped by 8 across the same firms. The money did not leave the system. It just moved up. Now I need to come back to that third reason I mentioned earlier, because it explains why this is happening faster than anyone predicted. Most people assume AI adoption in professional services is limited by how good the technology is. They think firms are waiting for AI to get better before they trust it with important work. That is wrong. The real bottleneck was liability. Here is the problem. If a paralegal makes a mistake reviewing a contract, misses a clause, misreads a deadline, the firm is responsible. They have malpractice insurance for this. The paralegal might get fired, but the system continues. When AI made the same mistakes, nobody knew who was liable. The AI company? The firm that deployed it? The partner who signed off on the work? This ambiguity made law firms nervous. They would experiment with AI but not actually rely on it for client work. That changed in 2023 and 2024. A series of legal opinions, insurance policy updates, and state bar guidance quietly clarified that firms can use AI for legal work as long as attorneys supervise and verify the outputs. Suddenly, the liability question had an answer: the partner is responsible, just like they always were when supervising human staff. That was the dam breaking. Within 8 months of those clarifications, Harvey AI went from 15 firm contracts to over 100. CoCounsel, Lexis AI, and Thomson Reuters AI tools saw similar adoption curves. The technology was ready years ago. The legal structure to deploy it safely only arrived recently. And here is the part that actually surprised me. The bar associations are not slowing this down. They are accelerating it. The American Bar Association issued guidance essentially saying that attorneys have an ethical obligation to use technology that improves client outcomes. Not permission. Obligation. One attorney I spoke with, a partner at a firm in Boston with 200 lawyers, put it bluntly. He said, "I cannot ethically charge a client $800 to have an associate spend 4 hours on research that an AI can do in 20 minutes. The AI does it better, faster, and catches things humans miss. If I do not use it, I am arguably committing malpractice." So if structured information processing is the kill zone, and ambiguous human navigation is the safe zone, what does that mean for everyone else? Actually, I need to stop here because most people get this completely wrong. They hear human skills are safe and think, oh, so I just need to be more empathetic, more creative, more emotionally intelligent. That is a dangerous oversimplification. The skills that protect you are not generic human skills. They are high-stakes human skills that cannot be delegated to someone cheaper. Here is what I mean. A customer service representative uses empathy and emotional intelligence all day. That job is absolutely getting automated because the stakes of any single interaction are low enough that companies will accept imperfect AI responses in exchange for massive cost savings. An angry customer who hangs up is a 50 problem. Worth automating. A divorce attorney who misreads a client's emotional state might cause that client to reject a settlement offer, drag out litigation for 2 more years, and cost themselves $300,000 in additional fees while destroying their relationship with their children. That is not a 50 problem. That is not getting automated. The protection is not empathy. The protection is empathy with high-cost consequences for failure in situations too unique to train a model on. This explains a pattern I kept seeing in the research. Jobs with the highest combination of variability, human stakes, and irreversibility are barely touched by AI right now. Trial lawyers, crisis negotiators, surgeons, executive coaches working with CEOs on interpersonal blind spots. Jobs with structured tasks, even very complex ones, are getting hit hard regardless of pay. Radiologists earning $400,000 are facing the same pressure as paralegals earning $60,000, because both jobs are fundamentally about pattern recognition in structured data. The radiologist is just facing it more slowly because their errors kill people, so the liability barriers are higher. Not safer. Just slower. Here is the timeline most people inside these industries are working with. Within 24 months, roughly 40 to 50% of paralegal work at large law firms will be done by AI systems, with human oversight but minimal human labor. Within 36 months, the same shift hits mid-size firms that currently cannot afford the tools but will as prices drop. Within 5 years, the Bureau of Labor Statistics job category for paralegals and legal assistants will need to be fundamentally redefined because most of the current role will no longer exist. I want to be honest, I did not see this coming this fast. When I started researching this topic, I expected to find firms experimenting at the margins. What I found is firms fundamentally restructuring their staffing models around the assumption that AI handles 70% of what junior and mid-level staff used to do. And the 200,000 lawyers? They are not being protected by some mystical human essence. They are being protected by a temporary liability barrier and the difficulty of training AI on situations that are unique, adversarial, and high consequence. That barrier is real, but it is not permanent. It is just later in the queue. If you are in a middle-income knowledge work role right now, the question you should be asking is not can AI do my job? The question is what percentage of my workweek involves applying consistent rules to structured inputs versus navigating ambiguous human situations with high stakes. If the answer is 60 structured or higher, you are in the kill zone. Not because you are bad at your job. Because you are good at a job that AI is also good at. The move is not to become generically more human. The move is to shift your work toward the parts that are unique, consequential, and interpersonal in ways that cannot be delegated or systematized. That might mean moving up the ladder where the ambiguity lives. That might mean moving laterally into client-facing or high-stakes roles. That might mean becoming the person who supervises the AI rather than the person the AI replaces. One paralegal I spoke with made exactly this shift. She spent 2023 getting certified in AI tool deployment for legal workflows. She now manages AI systems for her firm instead of doing document review. Her salary went up 40. She is one of 4 people in her role at a firm that used to employ 30 paralegals. The jobs are not disappearing. They are concentrating. Fewer people. Higher leverage. Higher pay for the ones who remain. The question is whether you are positioning yourself to be among them. If you found this useful, subscribe. I am tracking this shift across every industry it is hitting, and I will keep